Survival. That's what grief teaches first. In the beginning, it's about getting through 1 hour at a time. You wake up, you breathe, you keep moving. But what they don't see is that survival isn't strength. How do I handle the guilt when joy returns? Am I betraying my child if I build a happy life again? Can love grow again in my family when grief has broken us apart? These questions matter. They live in the silence, but they point beyond survival. They ask, what does it actually mean to live fully after loss? Maybe you have felt it. That strange moment when life demands more than just breathing. You find yourself laughing at something unexpected. You notice the way the sunset stops you in your tracks. And instantly, the guilt hits. Or maybe it's the way your family seems stretched thin, fragile, sometimes broken. You wonder, can love really survive this? These aren't easy questions, but they're the turning point. They're the doorway that shifts grief from survival to something more. Before we walk through them, let me tell you why I can speak to this. Almost 25 years ago, I lost my daughter. At first, my world collapsed into survival. Breathing, eating, standing upright. But slowly, through guilt, through silence, through the smallest sparks of joy, I discovered something that felt impossible. Survival wasn't the end. There was life beyond it. Not life without grief, but life reshaped by it. That's why I share this. Because the questions you're afraid to ask are the very ones that open the door to living again. This is often the first question that makes your chest tighten. If I build a life again, am I betraying them? Happiness feels dangerous. Laughter feels like disloyalty. Building a new future feels like leaving them behind. But here's the truth. Living fully is not betrayal. It is love continuing its work. The love you carry for your child didn't vanish when they passed. It is still alive in you. And love, by its very nature, grows. It expands. It creates. When you laugh again, you're not saying, I don't miss them. You're saying, their love is big enough to carry me into joy too. Your child isn't honored by despair. They are honored when your love for them spills into the way you live, the way you touch others, the way you allow life to keep unfolding. Even when joy arrives uninvited, guilt often follows behind. Parents tell me, I smiled without thinking and then felt like I'd done something wrong. That's how grief rewires us. It convinces us that sorrow equals loyalty. Guilt isn't always a sign of wrongdoing. Sometimes guilt is simply proof of your stepping into a new territory. The first laugh feels unsteady. The first lightness in your chest feels strange. But strange isn't wrong. Strange is healing. The way through is not to fight guilt, but to name it. I feel guilty because joy surprised me. And then remind yourself, joy does not erase grief. Joy is love breathing in a new way. Over time, the guilt fades and joy begins to feel natural again. Not like betrayal, but like belonging. Grief doesn't just change you, it changes the entire family. Sometimes it pulls you closer, sometimes it fractures you apart. Often it does both. Marriages strain. Distance grows without surviving children. And you wonder, can love grow after all this? The answer is yes, but not in the same way. Love after loss doesn't look like love before loss. It becomes deeper, more deliberate, more fragile, yet more resilient. When you allow yourself to grieve openly, you invite your children to do the same. You show them that tears aren't weakness, but courage. You show your partner that silence isn't rejection, but processing. And slowly, grief can soften hearts instead of hardening them. Families who chose honesty and compassion often discover that love doesn't just survive grief. It grows stronger because of it. This question lives beneath them all. What does it actually mean to feel fully after loss? Living fully doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It doesn't mean moving on. And it certainly doesn't mean erasing your child from your story. Living fully after loss means carrying grief as a part of you, not as a wound, but as a source of depth. It means laughing without guilt, because joy and sorrow can live side by side. Loving more freely, because you know how fragile life really is. Choosing presence over distraction, because every moment is sacred now. Carrying your child's memory not only as pain, but as love that continues. To live fully after loss isn't about becoming who you were. It is about becoming someone new, softer, stronger, more awake. If you've been holding these questions silently, please hear me. You are not weak for asking them. They don't mean you've forgotten. They don't mean you have betrayed anyone. They mean you are still loving, still searching, still alive. Life beyond survival isn't about forgetting. It is about remembering differently, carrying love forward into a life that is richer, deeper, and profoundly sacred. If this speaks to you, download my free guide, Grieving with Awareness. Because life beyond survival is not betrayal. It is love awakened.